It's time to be the voice of wisdom and reason, because people need it. Like today, it's the day after inauguration. Well, this GCAC Center, which is for elderly people and Meals for Wheels, and they help out in communities and stuff like GCAC, okay? I don't know if anyone else knows what that means, but in our area we have a whole bunch of them. But they help. And she sent me a message really early saying they needed a certain thing of bread for Monday, and it's already too late because the orders are closed. And I asked if she could do it Tuesday. And then instead of answering anything else back about that, she just said, hey, we're closed for 2 weeks. And I'm like, starting when and on what date? And it's because of the inauguration, and everybody's there is being angry about just, they're all, people, no matter what age, overreact to anything. And right now, our world is you're allowed to overreact and voice your opinion so much, only if it's a complaint or a distress that has to do with the common thing that people are talking about. Nobody's talking about anything different than a handful of subjects. And it's really disgusting to look at. So people need the voice of reason. And the voice of reason and wisdom doesn't come from a person who's thinking that they are somebody who knows better than anyone. It's from someone who just knows what's true. I'm not an ego, I'm a being. The difference between someone who thinks they've lost their ego and when you do lose your ego is when you realize what's always been holding me back, what's always been holding the I inside of Dan back, was you. All people, all things. Because an ego is a combination of what everybody else around you thinks they think of you or thinks they know about you, and what you think about you, and what you think other people think about you. But when you stop being who you used to be and stop trying to be anything but real, you lose your ego, because nobody is any different than you. When I say you, I also mean Dan Alexander, the ego that I once was, because that's not the person or the being that is inside of me at all. Not one tiny bit. Especially not anymore. All there is now is God. All there is now is divinity. All there is that one. I know it. I feel it. I am it. I've experienced it. I live it every moment. When people talk about it or go to church and speak of some book knowledge, that's one thing. But when you don't hear them talking about it from their heart, you know they must not really mean it. I really mean it. So what people need to do is they need to understand the difference between people who think they know and people who just are it. I don't have to know. I don't have to think. I am. That's simply it. So I'm the voice of wisdom and reason that people need. Dan isn't. When Dan gets in the way and starts worrying about being a dad and worrying about being a part of his kid's life, he knows that. At the same time, that's part of him holding on to an ego. That won't help anything. At all. In fact, he's never going to own his kids. His kids were never his. Ever. He helped them come into life. He helped them being born, and he also helped them come into the world in this body. But they were never his. Once they came out, they were individuals. He's here to guide them. If they don't want him to, he can't make them listen. And that's a tough thing to realize. Doesn't mean he's not going to keep trying, but he's more than just Dan or the attempt of a dad. And as weird as other people may think that sounds, it's the best kind of dad you can be. Being completely true. Not being some false identity associated with a country or an idea or a community or a county or a school district or anything. You're none of those things, and it's ridiculous that any of us have ever been duped into it or thought we were because of our own mind, not because of other people. Other people were only saying what they thought was true, and they're okay, and they're right in a certain way, but only in a physical way. And we know that we're not just physical. In fact, we aren't physical at all, just our experiences. You can't say that the thing that knows you know is a physical thing, because it's not. When you're sitting still and your mind goes here and there and everywhere, that's not a physical thing. That's what you are. You've never been anything but that. So that's why people say sit still and go inside and, seek the silence and all those things. Because that's what you are. You are the silent stillness. You are nothing but that. You get in the way with ego. My oldest son told me, well, you do have an ego, of course, blah, blah, blah. Well, that's a tool that I can use. It's a word. Sure, we all do. I was called Dan Alexander when I was born into this body. As silly as that stuff may sound to other people that I talk this way, it's the truth. They were just named whatever they were when they were born into that body. They weren't always that. Before they were in that body, they were energy, pure energy. And before they were pure energy, they were all things, because they've been all things. They are all things. It just keeps fluctuating and circulating throughout all life. Boom, there it is. And the way you think is how your body deteriorates or improves or grows or decomposes or anything. All those things. We don't have a unified mind, and until we do, people won't understand the way that it can work. And they'll just keep doubting it because they're listening to what they hear on TV from people. If you just watch the politicians and just see how intelligent they seem, other than what they've heard from studies or reports, you'll realize that they are really sort of ignorant and sort of dumb, because maybe money has blinded them. Some of them, I'm not putting them all down. I mean, I'm not trying to put any of them down as people, because they're just people trying to do a job, trying to hold a position, trying to do whatever they do. It's what we're all doing, because we have to. Well, we had to. We don't anymore. So, where do we go from here? We listen to the voice of wisdom. We do the right thing. As hard as it may seem, we do the right thing. Until next time, peace.